Kruger National Park. The Kruger National Park lies across the provinces of Mpumalanga and Limpopo in the north of South Africa, just south of Zimbabwe and west of Mozambique. It now forms part of the Great Limpopo Transfrontier Park, a peace park that links Kruger National Park with game parks in Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and fences are already coming down to allow game to freely roam in much the way it would have in the time before man's intervention. When complete, the Greater Limpopo Transfrontier Park will extend across 35,000 square kilometers, 58% of it South African, 24% Mozambican and 18% Zimbabwean territory. This is the land of baobabs, fever trees, knophorns, marula and mopan trees underneath which lurk the big five, the little five, buffalo weaver, elephant shrew, leopard, tortoise, antlion and rhino beetle, the birding big six, ground hornbill, cory bustard, lappet-faced vulture, martial eagle, Pell's fishing owl and saddle-bill stork, and more species of mammals than any other African game reserve. The Kruger Park is a self-drive destination, although there are guided tour operators, with an excellent infrastructure that includes picnic sites, rest camps, water holes and hides. The Kruger Park is a remarkable reserve offering an incredible experience of Africa at its most wild. Kruger Park's different zones and regions. Very broadly speaking, the Kruger National Park is flat with a few gentle hills, and people tend to classify the bushveld of the Kruger as unvaried and dry, which is rather like saying South Africa is sunny. It conceals an amazingly rich diversity. The Kruger National Park is divided into no fewer than 6 ecosystems: baobab sandveld, labumbo knophorn marula bushveld, mixed acacia thicket, coonbaratan silver class-2 leaf, woodland on granite, and riverine forest. Kruger Park's central region. Encompassing only 30% of the Kruger Park's surface area, the central region supports nearly half the park's lion population as well as numbers of leopard, hyena and cheetah. Possibly the main reason for this is the quantity of sweet grasses and abundant browsing trees found in this area that support a large group of antelope, giraffe, buffalo, zebra and wildebeest. But this does mean that it's a popular region amongst tourists, and subsequently there are a number of camps in this region. It's understandable though, as the chance of sighting even one of the 60 prides of lion that make the central region their home is a huge draw card. Kruger's far north region. This is a rather fascinating part of the Kruger National Park, not least because the ecozones here are noticeably different from other habitats in the Kruger. Sightings of rare birdlife and major areas of sand formed by river floodplains, combined with sandstone formations of the Mozambique coastal plain, make it attractive to visitors. There are also a number of tropical aspects as part of the region lies in a rain shadow, and along the banks of the Luvuva River is a series of riverine forest. A picnic site on the riverbank provides hours of splendid bird viewing. What you can witness in this part of the Kruger National Park is extraordinary: the knocking sand frog, a collection of bats, the nocturnal bush pig and the rare Sharp's grisbok. There are say-mango monkeys, packs of endangered wild dog, and the major water pans across the Wombeer Sandveld are a good place to sight tropical warm water fish, such as the rainbow killifish, not found anywhere else in South Africa. The Sandstone Hills, just west of Pandamaria, is the only place where you can see the natal red heron dassy or yellow-spotted hyrax. What makes a visit to this remote part of the Kruger Park so meaningful is the solitude. The northern Kruger Park region, north of the Orange River, is a semi-arid region covering 7,000 square kilometers that sees very little rain. The Letaba and Oliphants rivers contain as much as 60% of the Kruger Park's hippo population, and bird life here abounds. There are plenty of bush pig in the undergrowth of the Luvuva River, and on most of the river banks you can hope to see sizable herds of elephant. The Kruger National Park's latest estimate is as many as 9,000 of these beautiful beasts, buffalo, bushbuck, impala and kudu concentrated near a water supply. The southern Kruger Park region, bounded by the Crocodile River in the south and the Sabi River in the north, the southern region is also host to the jagged ridge of the Lubumbo Mountains along the border with Mozambique, and the highest point in the park, Cairns Live, in the southwestern corner, almost in counterpoint to Pretoria Scope that lies in the west of the southern region of the Kruger National Park. The Combratum woodlands, also part of this region, attract reasonable herds of kudu, impala, giraffe, buffalo, zebra, white rhino and elephant, and the scarcity of lion in this part of the park makes way for the cheetah and wild dog. Bushwalks. Nothing can possibly beat the heart-stopping excitement of tracking rhino, elephant and lion on foot through the heat of the bush. But it is also one of the most incredible ways to learn about the fragility of the ecosystems of the Kruger Park and to see the smaller, but in no way less exciting, animals and insects of the park like termites, spiders, snakes and plants that tend to be ignored when on the more fast-paced game drives. Wilderness trails. There are a few incredible wilderness trails in the Kruger National Park, some in areas virtually untouched by humans, with names like Metsi Metsi, Bushman's Wilderness Trail, Nyalaland, Napi Wilderness Trail, Woluta and the Swanee Wilderness. Most of these trails are about 2 days with 3 overnights in rustic huts with basic ablution in reed-walled showers and flushed toilets, but on the whole, they are in such demand that they're booked out way in advance. These are aimed at smaller groups than bushwalks and one needs to have a reasonable level of fitness as one averages 20 kilometers a day, although this is at a leisurely pace. The Lubumbo Overland Trail. This incredible 5-day wilderness experience on wheels takes you from Crocodile Bridge to Pafuri, and deserves a mention here. It's an eco-trail that takes you along the eastern boundary of the Kruger National Park along the Lubumbo Hills, hence the name, from the extreme south to the farthest northern edge. A maximum of 5 vehicles, with 4 people in each, so as not to affect the environment adversely, undertakes the trail that covers 500 kilometers. It's a self-drive eco-trail. You man your own vehicle and cater for yourself, that crosses magnificent rivers and encompasses some of the most beautiful scenery in the park. Wide, open spaces, bushville and magnificent trees at their best. The trail overnights at Lower Sebi, Oliphants and Shingwedzi rest camps. Experienced and professional guides will lead the trail and interpret the different eco-zones, and explain the terrain on this trail, rated as the best in southern Africa purely because of the rich diversity of fauna and flora en route. The private game reserves within Kruger. Flanking the western boundary of the Kruger National Park are a number of private game reserves. Though none of them fall within the park's boundaries, together they form the heart of South Africa's big game country, and some of the most famous private lodges and the best wildlife viewing in the world take place here. The main reason for rich game viewing is the free movement of animals between the private reserves and the Kruger National Park. At least 100 kilometers of fencing has been removed, ridding the area of man-made borders. The private game reserves allow for vehicles to leave roads, and animals on the whole are more used to the presence of man, so there's a greater chance of seeing them. Private game reserves include Sabi Sands Game Reserve, which is home to the well-known lodges of Alusaba and Lion Sands, Timbavati Game Reserve and Klaiseri Game